Okay. This evening on the Daily O, a superstar alumnus is returning to town in a student-exclusive event. Find out more soon. Plus, a reminder for tailgaters. With the burn ban in effect, what do OSU fans need to know for pregame? And Stillwater Waste Management is cutting back its services, in part due to staffing shortages. All that and more is just ahead on the Daily O. Good evening and welcome back to the Daily O. I'm Lauren Suarez. Thank you for joining us. In local news, Garth Brooks is coming back to Stillwater on October 25th. OSU officials announced the event yesterday. The two-time Grammy Award-winning artist started his career here in Stillwater, performing at a variety of venues while playing on the Cowboys track and field team. The event will be held at the McKnight Center and is open only to students. Students should check their emails to register for the event. Brooks was scheduled to come to campus last semester, but a winter storm postponed his travel plans. Earlier this week, the OSSAA released its latest guidelines for NIL deals for high school athletes, creating a new level of competition for athletics. Our own Zach Berger is live at Stillwater High School with the latest information regarding the news. Zach?
Name, image, and likeness. What's been a hot topic in the college level recently has now trickled down to the high school level. The OSSAA in recent days has released guidelines for high school athletes to get NIL deals of their own. OSSAA Associate Director Mike Whaley had this to say about the matter.
So we were trying to give our member schools and our students some ideas about things that would help them as they navigate through the name, image, and likeness.
Some of the main concerns surrounding these guidelines is how they will affect Rule 5, the amateur rule, and Rule 9, the recruitment rule. The OSSAA plans to travel around Oklahoma this month and get feedback for its guidelines. With these guidelines still fresh, I was able to get some initial reactions right here in Stillwater, Oklahoma, from head coach and former athletic director Tucker Barnard.
Probably the biggest thing that I would question and worry about is kids getting taken advantage of.
With student athletes being the main worry, there are still big question marks surrounding the education level in regards to NIL deals.
I'm not real educated on it. I know our kids are not educated on it. We're going to have to get some resources, some lawyers, people who really understand and know what's going on.
Concern surrounding these guidelines goes past the coach, however, as I was able to talk with star quarterback Gage Gundy on his initial reaction to the deal.
I think it's a cool deal, you know. I mean, I kind of like the old school football where you just got to play and not kind of get bribed by money, but I think it's a cool change.
Yeah. Just like his head coach, Gundy also thinks this may be a bad move, but for a different reason.
For high schoolers, I think it could be bad because young kids, they could just be worried about money.
While the release of these guidelines allows the OSSAA to be, as the associate director put it, current and correct, modifications and adjustments will need to be made once feedback is collected. This situation will continue to develop as this month goes on, and the NIL guidelines could expand to cover not only athletics, but other student activities like esports.
Reporting from Stillwater High, Zach Berger, Ocali TV.
Thank you for that, Zach. Tomorrow is game day, and tailgaters are already popping up around campus. However, Payne County is under a burn ban. OSU athletic officials have reminded tailgaters of a couple of guidelines. Open flames and fire pits are prohibited. They are prohibited regardless of a burn ban. As for what is allowed, grills, large smokers with wood, charcoal, pellet grills, and more are fair game. Full details are available on okstate.com. The city of Stillwater is changing its waste management guidelines for residents. Glass and yard waste will no longer be picked up at the curb. This policy will remain at least until the end of October. Residents may bring as many truckloads as they need due to the inconvenience. Stillwater officials mentioned open positions in their waste management department. There is a link posted to the city's Twitter account for interested applicants. In other news, the 100th anniversary of Fire Protection Week is coming up, October 9th through the 15th. Stillwater officials will be promoting fire protection ideas. The theme, Fire Won't Wait, Plan Your Escape, will drive the campaign. More information is available on the City of Stillwater's website. It's been near perfect weather today, but let's see if that will continue on throughout the week. this week. This weekend has lower temperatures compared to what has happened. We have a high of 77 on Sunday with lows around the high 40s to the low 50s. Into Monday and Tuesday, we have a slight chance of rain, so be aware of that. We have low temperatures starting in the morning that will go up to the 70s in the afternoon. And then Wednesday and Thursday are clear for clear skies with a high of 84 on Wednesday. Gosh. When we come back, our own Brody Meyer sits down with interim director for the OSU SMSC department, Jared Johnson, in our weekly interview series. The Daily O will be right back.
Our state is one of the most beautiful and unique states in the USA. With diverse geographies, the historic Route 66, unforgettable restaurants, and some of the greatest people on the planet. With so much to see and so much to do, living in Oklahoma means one of the best vacation spots is right in our own backyard. Doesn't this story need to be told? As filmmakers and photographers based right here in Oklahoma, we thought so. And hey, who doesn't like a good road trip? So, we packed up our cameras, teamed up with Lieutenant Governor Matt Pinnell and the Oklahoma Tourism and Recreation Department, and that's how this series was born. We want to show you why traveling within the great state of Oklahoma is a great idea. So come join us for thousands of miles over the next year, from Broken Bow to Black Mesa. This is the Oklahoma Road Trip.
We use the very best of the best ingredients. Demerara sugar is the best that is. Very high quality fruits, berries. The milk we use is the best milk there is. That's why it makes our product stand by itself. I like to make yogurt because I like to eat yogurt. We've been doing this for ourselves for many years because it's a tradition in our family. And we want to have a product which would be very similar to French yogurt, but with our touch of uniqueness, linking our name, our product, with the reputation of the Made in Oklahoma Coalition was probably the best thing we have done as far as promoting our product.
Welcome back. Earlier today, our own Brody Myers interviewed Dr. Jared Johnson, the interim director of the SMSC, for our weekly sit-down interview series. Here's a part of their conversation.
And our O'Connell interview series continues today. We've interviewed some people with some pretty interesting titles, but no one is swimming in more titles than one Dr. Jared Johnson. Interim director, professor, instructor, poke report extraordinaire, student wrangler in Waco. You got a lot of things going on right now. But first, I just want to ask, your new job, you entered into it this summer. What's it been treating you like so far?
Well, as anybody starts a new job, you have a learning curve to get through, and that's the same thing with this one. You know, when you're a faculty member, you stay in your lane, you teach your classes, you know what you're doing. When you start stepping into administration, there are a lot of things that you don't expect or don't know are going to happen, and you have to just kind of adjust and do that. But you also realize that everything that you do makes a difference and makes the student's experience better or not so much better.
Sure. And it seems like every year it gets a little bit better. What is really good about this journalism school right now?
Right now, it's involvement outside of class. There isn't another major that I know of where the students are getting outside the classroom, yourself included, and doing things that make a difference for your career. It's not all just book work, and that is really what's going for this major right now, is we're providing opportunities for students all across the board in SMSC to do things outside the classroom and build their portfolio.
And hopefully some prospective SMSC students are watching this. We talked off air just a minute ago. You guys took a recent trip to Waco. Got another one coming up, as I understand, to K-State. Talk about those.
So it's just one example of many that we do. We want to engage our students outside the classroom. So we took a group of students down to Waco. We did a show on the road, the Poke Report. And basically that just means going down there, shooting our anchor shots and getting everything ready, and then they spend all night long editing the show, getting it ready to go, and then we have a little bit of time on Friday afternoon, And so I took the students over to the local NBC affiliate, and they participated in the Friday Night Lights football show for high school football there, where they got to see how things work in the real world and get some mentoring that way. Then, of course, we go the next day and cover the football game, which was, go Pokes, a great win for Oklahoma State, and then drive back. But you know what? You've got one-on-one time, students with a professor that's done it in the field, and you're producing something that people are going to see. It's a great experience.
Yeah. If Casey Strum walked into your office and gave you a blank check and you could change one thing about this school, what would it be? Sorry to put you on the spot here, but I got to ask some political questions.
Only one thing?
I'll give you 2 or 3. How about that?
Well, let me just preface this by saying that one of the things I always tell prospective students about this school is that everything that they see in this building and in this school, people, technology, everything, it's state of the art.
Yeah.
It's the best. The students are the best that we could ask for. The faculty are the best that we could ask for. The equipment that we have and use is the best. But we have to warn them not to look at the building. The building is an old building, and that happens everywhere. You're just going to have an old building, but everything that you experience inside this building is state of the art. So if I had one thing, it's no surprise. It would be a new building.
Yeah. But, I point to things like Allie P. Reynolds Stadium. For 20, 30, 40 years, they were playing in that facility, which was not up to par many of those years. Right. But guess what? They were going to regionals. They were going to Omaha. They were doing stuff, making the best of what they had. And I think that's the case here at the journalism school.
And people that watch this show, they're not going to notice anything about the building at all, because the people that are inside the building and the technology is exactly what we need it to be.
Yeah.
So, however, I think it would make a great difference in recruiting, in just perception, to have that new building. But it'll happen when it happens.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of recruiting, I know overall OSU's numbers are up. And even dating back to when I was in high school looking at this school, I remember hearing about people from Wisconsin, California, coming from all over to come to this multimedia journalism school, or School of Media and Strategic Communications. What's our standing right now in recruiting? What's on the horizon for that?
Well, there's no doubt that COVID across the board took a cut on everybody's enrollment, and ours is no different. But we're starting to see that rebound now. We've got one of the largest incoming freshman classes of any of the majors that I've seen on paper. So in terms of recruitment, students are coming back. And they're finding that communication is an important field. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, you have to have communicators. You have to have people that are able to communicate orally, people that are able to communicate in writing, people that are able to communicate through video, audio, whatever the means, they have to communicate. And that's what we do here. And so that's being recognized, and we've got students coming from all over the place to come in and be trained as communicators.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry to keep jumping back and forth, but I'm taking things off your answer. So you're a great interviewee. The faculty members here, I cannot think of one that doesn't have at least a little bit of real-world journalism experience before they came over to this academia side. Mm-hmm. Not the case at some other schools. With all due respect, that's just not how it works at other majors and schools on this campus.
Thanks again to Director Johnson for stopping by. You can see our full conversation now on the Ocala YouTube channel. Time for a quick break, but when we return, we'll make a quick jump over to the sports desk to let you in on all you need to know going into the weekend. The Daily O will be right back.
I'm Kristen Hawkins. I went to Oklahoma State University here in Stillwater in '99 to 2004. I've always felt like Stillwater needed more family-friendly things to do, and we have opened up AR Workshop. We do everything from knitting blankets that can be done in a 3-hour class. We create doormats and porch signs, the Christmas wreaths with our yarn that we use for the blankets. We also do, we just started a new project for gnomes. We've done pumpkins during the fall, but our big thing that we do here are interior signs. Our designs are extremely unique to AR Workshop. Customers come in, everything is here for them to do. They create everything. They can be as hands-on as they want. They came in here to relax and have fun, and that they are proud of their project that they've made.
You may have been to casinos at some point in your life, but do you really know the truth behind the game you're playing?
casinos were very polemic or very controversial when they came out. But the truth was, that's all the federal government gave us.
The casino is owned by the Chickasaw Nation and has roughly 600,000 square feet of dedicated gambling space, making it the world's largest casino. It contributed massively to the Chickasaw Nation, posting a net revenue of $1.4 billion for the fiscal year of 2017.
Over the years, we kind of realized that you can get ribs anywhere, you can get a steak anywhere, but you can't always get a Mountain View hot link like ours. So we really decided to focus on that niche and realized we had something really special. So that's when we started focusing more on the hot links, but it's still the same family recipe they were making all those years ago. For us, many of our people that work here have been with us for years and decades. So whereas machines kind of break down over time, the people just get better. And it shows in the products we produce. When you buy a Mountain View product, not only is it going to taste dynamite, but you're also feeding Oklahomans. You're helping employ Oklahomans, and you're helping to fund the state's economy. So what's better than that?
Hey there, sports fans. Welcome back to the Daily O. Connor Bergen here with you to navigate you through all what you need to know throughout the sports world going into the weekend. Cowboy football is right around the corner here in Stillwater as the Texas Tech Red Raiders come to town. The Raiders come into this one following an impressive upset victory against the Texas Longhorns. While the Raiders look to ride their momentum, Cowboys head coach Mike Gundy and his squad look to continue their undefeated season another week. Our own Derek Mendez has the preview.
Victory against Baylor, Oklahoma State is preparing to match that energy in their upcoming home game against Texas Tech. While the win at Baylor may label the Cowboys as top dogs in the conference, linebacker Mason Cobb assures the team's focus is solely on who they face next.
We're just worried about the next game. It's really anybody's conference at this time. Everyone have good days, bad days, so we're just focused on the next game and kind of just getting better as a whole.
Oklahoma State remains undefeated with a 4-0 record overall and 1-0 in the conference. Texas Tech has faced some struggles as they are 3-2 overall and 1-1 in the conference. While Tech lost last weekend's conference game against Kansas State, Cobb speaks on what stands out about the Red Raiders.
They pass a lot, so we're gonna, try to get at the quarterback and hopefully the ball's gonna come out quick. But yeah, from other teams, they're usually like 60-40 run. These guys are 80, 90 pass.
Texas Tech's defensive struggles may be an issue going up against a Cowboys offense led by Spencer Sanders, who has 11 passing touchdowns and 185 rushing yards. Defensive tackle Brendan Evers believes Sanders will be a crucial offensive threat against Tech and in future conference games.
Guy, whether it was the good thing or bad thing, he's going to lay his body out on the line, and I've always respected him for the highest level for that. Really pivotal point in the game, young guy in there, running back, who's going to be a hell of a star here. Just wait, but he understood that that could be the game right there. The way momentum shifts in college football in that game in that point in time. So. But I wouldn't expect anything else because I'd do it the same for him. Y'all see the highlights. This man lowers his shoulder every week. There's not a lot of quarterbacks in this league that do that, that aren't 6'5", you know what I mean? He plays like he's a 300-pound defensive lineman sometimes when he's running the ball. So, like I said, a lot of respect for him. This is probably the most polished and best Spencer Sanders I've seen in 5 years, and it's really starting to show.
Oklahoma State's defense is seeing constant improvement, so their matchup against Red Raider quarterback Donovan Smith will be exciting to watch. Texas Tech is seeking its first road win, while the Cowboys are looking for their second conference win this Saturday at Boone Pickens Stadium, with kickoff scheduled for 2:30. Reporting for Ocali TV, I'm Derek Mendez.
Once again, kickoff is set for 2:30. Thanks for that, Derek. Now, one of the main staples for the Cowboys' success over the past 2 seasons have been with that improved defensive play. While the Cowboys' defense continues to hold strong this season, linebacker Mason Cobb looks to begin taking over as one of the top leaders for his squad. Payne Schmidt has more.
Cowboys linebacker Mason Cobb is looking to unleash everything he's been preparing for.
It's good to finally get my time to shine. It's been 2 years, behind, great players, and it just felt good to play a game again. So.
While spending his first 2 seasons at Oklahoma State sitting behind star players like Devin Harper and Malcolm Rodriguez, he says he wouldn't change it for anything as they quickly became mentors to him.
I understand, I was behind good guys. I was glad they came back so I could, learn from them, take things from them during the season, just learning the whole time. So.
Coach Mike Gundy would even consider Cobb's time spent under these star players to be an advantage.
It's been a blessing for those guys that they didn't have to play too early in their career. It keeps them healthy.
Cobb begins his 3rd season with 30 total tackles, including 7 tackles for loss and 2 sacks just through the first 4 games of the season. With a pivotal 4th down stop against Baylor, Cobb looks to continue his success this far and bring it for this weekend's game against Texas Tech.
They pass a lot, so we're gonna, try to get at the quarterback and hopefully the ball's gonna come out quick. But from other teams, they're usually like 60-40 run. These guys are 80, 90 pass.
The game is set for October 8th, 2:30 p.m. here at Boone Pickens Stadium. Peyton Schmidt, Ocali TV.
Thanks for that, Paige. Well, Oklahoma State, they're playing tomorrow afternoon. That's not all the athletic events that are happening here on campus. Cowgirls softball will be playing in back-to-back games this Sunday. At noon, the Central Arkansas Bears make a visit. Following that, it's a quick turnaround as the West Texas A&M Buffs are coming around with a first pitch set for 3:30 p.m. If you're out of town and unable to attend, no worries. Ocali TV has you covered on all the recaps and all the highlights you need to stay in the loop with all things OSU athletics. Time for one last break on the Daily O, but when we return, fantasy football users can rejoice. Carson Mellon has you covered in this week's Stardom and Situm. Also, it's time to dive into what happened on this day in sports history. Don't go anywhere. Daily O, we'll be right back.
Tired of paying for parking at those other airports? Fly Stillwater Regional Airport. We offer proximity, free parking, and short security lines. Still making long drives to Oklahoma City or Tulsa just for the airport? Stay close to home and fly with Stillwater Regional Airport. Daily nonstop flights to DFW with 800 plus flight connections in 29 countries.
Oh hey, I'm sorry I didn't see you there. I'm not sure if you knew, but the Ocali has been doing big things this past year. Let me give you the rundown. Ocali TV had over 100,000 views in 2020. And listen, the traffic on the Ocali website is mind-blowing. Ocali.com had 1.5 million page views in 2020. But wait, there's more. I know you guys love social media, being that you're young and all, so I'm gonna let you in on some stats I recently got my hands on. The Ocali's Twitter has 19,000 followers, and its Facebook 10,000 followers, and it's only growing. The eCollie even has 2,200 followers. Crazy, right? I'm thinking with those stats, the only option left is for you to join in on the fun. Come join the cool kids. They're all probably looking at something on the Ocali right now anyways. Okay, that's all I have for you. The Ocali, fighting fake news since 1895.
Hopes are when folks drink our water is that they'll drink it for a few days and find out the difference. They'll start feeling better because there's been no chemical in our water. There's a list of good things that we have. We don't have any bad things in it. I see the future of Divine Water as being worldwide, which will bring outside dollars into the state. It means a lot to me because I started it, I guess, and our family started it.
Last night was an exciting one if you were looking for some competent football in the NFL, but no need to worry if you're a fantasy user. Our own Carson Mellon will have you covered with his Week 5 edition of your Stardom and Situm.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Fantasy Football Weekly Roundup. My name is Karsten Melton and we have a packed episode here today, so let's get started with our Stardoms. We'll start with Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence. Weeks 1 through 3 were fantastic for Trevor. Under new head coach Doug Peterson, Lawrence has finally been unlocked for the Jags. Last week was not a very good performance, but we could excuse that because it was against a very good Eagles team. Now he takes on a divisional foe in the Texans, who have been woeful this season. With 8 touchdowns to only 2 interceptions, Trevor has become a QB you can trust in year 2. Next up is a bit of a different choice. We're calling New England Patriots running back Remandre Stevenson as a startup. The Detroit Lions have the second worst run defense in the NFL.